Let's take a look at the internals of what's going on inside of ZIGI as far as metadata. First, we're going to look at this repository, the demo repository that has two data sets attached to it. If we do an info on it, we can see we don't have a remote because I'm just using it for demo purposes. The high-level qualifier for the data sets, as you saw previously, was lbdyc.demo. And we're ignoring the first two qualifiers. In other words, we're going to ignore lbdyc and .demo when those data sets are placed into the OMVS/Git repository. Here is the repository in OMVS. We have the standard Git files, the .git info, the Git attributes. The .ziggy is metadata, and then PDSE and PDS are the directories that contain the members within those partition data sets. If we go into the Unix dataset list, UDL or 3.17, there is a file that is used by Git config, that's created the first time you do something within ZIGI or Git. It sets up the different information about Git, your user ID, your name, and a few other little things. The key I want to look at is the ZIGI ref ID. Reference date is really what that is. Let's browse that directory. We'll select it, go into it. Now we have all of the different Git OMVS directories that have Git repository in them. The format is the directory, which is Git, and then within there is the name of the repository, which is also a directory. So git_demo is the one we're interested in. And within there, we have the two data sets that are in the repository, demo.pds and demo.pdse. And what we have next to that is the Julian date, year followed by day, that the data set was last accessed. This is used by ZIGI to take a look and determine, is the data set changed? And if so, then we need to take a look at it to see if there have been changes within it. If the date hasn't changed since we last looked at it, then ZIGI is not going to go through the overhead of checking ISPF statistic dates. Now let's go back to the demo repository, and we'll go take a look at the .ziggy subdirectory where we have three files, a DSN, and then a file for each one of the PDSs, PDS and PDSE. The DSN file is where we maintain information about the ZOS data set. This is the top of it, all comments. Next, we have the bottom part, and this is where it's really key. The first part is the file name in Git, and actually also what's in the OMVS directory. In this case, it's just PDS because we're ignoring the top two qualifiers. The next is the dataset organization. The next three are the record format, the logical record length, and the block size. That information is used when you clone a repository from GitHub or wherever that has been created in ZIGI, and it needs to recreate those data sets on your ZOS system. It will use that information. The next field is the file extension used within the PDS or PDSE subdirectories, basically whatever that file is. So for example, the member abc.txt, if there is no .txt or no suffix there, then the member name is stored in the directory in uppercase as the member name itself. The next one is, let's take a look at the PDS file. This contains the ISPF statistics, obviously the member name in the column 1, and then the ISPF statistics going out. And that is the ZIGI metadata that was stored.